Man, have I been waiting months to talk about today's paddle and review. Proton has finally released their Project Flamingo, which is their revamped Series 3. On my recent trip to the PPA Masters, all of the Proton pros switched to the Flamingo, and even some non-signed Proton pros were seen using it. I have been using the prototype of this paddle for a while, and today we are taking a deep dive into the production model. But before we do that, these videos do take a good amount of time and effort, so it would mean a lot if you could hit that subscribe button. Also, like always, a quick disclaimer, Proton did provide me with several units to playtest, as well as the prototype I have been using. However, no money exchanged hands. They have not reviewed this video in any way before it posted, and all thoughts are my own. With that out of the way, let's jump into some specs. The Project Flamingo comes in at 16 millimeters. I would classify this as a power paddle. The Flamingo is made with a Gen 3 paddle construction. The Flamingo comes in one shape, which is elongated. Also, to my knowledge, this is the first dual stamped paddle with both certifications from the USAP and the UPAA. The surface material is a raw carbon fiber face. The handle length comes in at 5.25 inches. The average swing weight of the Flamingos that I tested was 120, and the average twist weight was 6.75. And lastly, the average static weight was 8.1 ounces. The Flamingo will come in two color options, launching today with a blue edge guard option and with a pink variant on the way. I've been told that the pink variant should be available in the next 4 to 6 weeks. The Project Flamingo comes with a 1-year warranty backed by Proton, and the retail price of this paddle is $280. But with code JJPB, that price does come down to $252 only on Proton's website. As some of you may know if you listen to my podcast, I have been playing with the Flamingo prototype for the past few months. In that time, I have been choosing to use it as my main paddle, and that includes at PPA Worlds in Dallas in early November, where fellow reviewer John Q and I won bronze in men's 4-0 doubles. All of this to say is that I have really put in some good playtesting with this paddle. I was super eager to get the final production model to compare it to my prototype, which I have had for close to 2 weeks. And I did not notice much change other than that the paddle feels a little bit more solid and has slightly less grit to the touch. The power of this paddle, in my experience, is not the hottest paddle on the market, but it is certainly close given the new testing procedures. This paddle fit a need for me as a PaddleTech TKO, but with a larger sweet spot. I found I had great power on my serves and drives, but still plenty of control where I could hit my cross-court drop shot on the run and dink very comfortably. This paddle is a Gen 3 design, and thanks to my friend for providing this x-ray, we can see the insides of this paddle, and what we can see when examining this x-ray is the foam used around the perimeter goes all the way down the sides. It also appears that the cell sizes may be smaller than the standard 8mm, but I have not been able to confirm this. The new Project Flamingo, compared to the original Series 3, hits harder, has a more durable and gritty face, and in my experience has a lower swing weight on average. To summarize the difference, it just basically means that it hits harder from the baseline and is quicker in the hands at the kitchen line. This paddle also has a good amount of pop for my backhand flicks. The spin I can generate from the Flamingo has really impressed me. The durability of the face and claims for Proton, I did have some doubts on, given it's a carbon fiber face, and naturally face materials will wear down over time. However, the top layer of grit really has seemed to be lasting for me. The face of my prototype still has very good grit to the touch, even after months of play. And even though the final production Flamingo seems to be a little bit smoother to the touch, I haven't noticed any degradation yet, but I will continue to monitor this on my podcast. Resets with this paddle are a breeze, to where if you are used to any other Gen 3 paddles, then you will understand that at times you just have to block the ball to reset it. This is probably my favorite attribute of paddles like the Flamingo, to when I get in trouble in the transition zone, I just have to put my paddle down when blocking a ball and then proceed to move forward to the net. I did make one modification in my playtesting to the Flamingo that I also did to my prototype. I ended up putting 2 grams of 0.5 gram per inch tape to each side of my paddle to help it feel even more stable. I have really been enjoying this setup, and I have really felt it has enhanced my play. This paddle certainly gives Miami Vice themes. With a very loud and bright 5-color carbon fiber design, Proton claims they are currently the only manufacturer that can deliver this. I normally lean towards a more sleek and neutral designs, but the colors have certainly grown on me. I personally may have loved a more neutral edgeguard, so I could throw my favorite purple colored overgrip on this paddle. But that's a small critique for a very well-designed paddle. Also, I did want to point out that the stock grip on this paddle is something I have a gripe with. I don't know if this will only be an issue with the first batch, but the stock grip seems as if the material is just slightly dried out. It didn't bother me in the long term, as I often remove the stock grip to replace it with 2 overgrips on the handle. And like I said, this may only be an issue with the first run, but I felt like I should point this out. If you are one that loves to stand out and have a flashy paddle, then the Flamingo is certainly one you have to check out. This paddle is very expensive, but with Proton's claim of using higher-end materials and their 1-year warranty guaranteeing the paddle's performance, this may be a selling point to some. I certainly have been loving my time with the Flamingo the last 3 months, and I do expect it to stay in my bag for the months to come. It gives me power that can be controlled, great feeling spin, and a really good sweet spot. I would highly recommend this paddle to anyone who is looking for a paddle tech with a bigger sweet spot. Also, if you are looking for a power paddle, but nothing over the top like a Mod TA15, then this is one of the best options on the market for you. I would also recommend this paddle to anyone concerned with durability, as Proton guarantees this paddle to last, or they will replace it for you if you feel like it starts degrading within the first year. I would not recommend this paddle to anyone who does not like a swing weight over 120, as this is an elongated paddle. I also would not recommend this paddle to anyone that is a more control-oriented player. Lastly, if you weren't a fan of the original Series 3, then this likely is still not the right paddle for you. If you have played with a Proton paddle in the past, I would love to hear how your experience was down in the comments. If you have any other questions for me, feel free to drop those down below as well. And lastly, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.